wrote the words for that.
Who did?
Our Janice.
Thank you, Janice. Woo! That was awesome. That was awesome. So for those of you that did not get up and do the dance of abundance, I am knowing for you that you will do that at home in the privacy of your own room where people are not looking or taking pictures of you. And do the dance of abundance, right? Because I don't know about you, but for me, just talking about abundance and even just saying the word abundance fills me with this joyful giddiness of plenitude and opulence and thriving. Yes, doesn't it? Yeah. That's what it's supposed to do. So it is so fun to have this month. So this month, the Seed of Awakening is finances, and we're really talking about abundance and our overflow, you know. And so I know that sometimes we can look at our bank accounts and we see that there's a finite number there, yes? There's a number and we're not sure, you know, it's like, well, okay, so I've got this in my bank account, therefore I can do this, I can purchase this, and I can purchase this. I can't, or whatever the other words are that we use for what we feel like we're not able to do at this time because of the bank account. But this month, we're really looking at a way for us to shift our mentality into a mindset of abundance, a mindset of opulence, a mindset of, I've got a bunch of words here, this is going to be fun later, a mindset of being affluent and bountiful, so that we open up our minds and we can have expanded thinking about what's possible, rather than limiting ourselves to what we see in the bank account. And we have a wonderful group who has been up to something magnificent, who is really a manifestation of this, and they're going to share more about that later in the service. And so that's really what the month is about, you know. So now, does everyone here know how to swim? Everybody knows how. That's part of the abundance of fly. Is there anybody here who doesn't know how to swim? Nobody's going to raise their hand. Not really, she says. Okay. And then, well, let me ask a different question. Is there anyone who has ever had something in front of them that needed to be done, but they didn't know how to do it? That's more like it, right? Everybody. Now, I want to ask you, in those moments, what did you do? Google, YouTube. Got a book out. Old school, huh? YouTube. Ask for help. Try the first thing that came to mind. Right. Yeah, right? There's a world of opportunity right there. Now, so most people will Google, right? That's the first, and then we find YouTube videos and lots of ways to do things. Did anybody ever stop and pray about it? That's a new one. You should try that. Try that at home. Stop and pray about it and get present to the thing itself, and it will guide you into the next steps, right? And you can follow that guidance. Now, there's a saying that goes, if you can't find the answers you are looking for in your meditation, try Google. You're supposed to laugh here. We need the applause meter. Or the laughter sign. So in a similar manner, we have spiritual laws and tools that we can actually use to up-level our lives, to increase our joy, expand our love, open our minds, elevate our awareness, and vibrate at a higher frequency than we ever have before, thereby attracting all that we could possibly imagine for ourselves into our lives. And so let's be real, though. Finances can be an area of immense joy and immense struggle, yes? At times, up until now. Now this month, we're going to begin the month with the awareness that the infinite source is where all things flow from. And then we're going to follow that flow through the human experience, both personally, for us individually, and then out into the world, right? So sometimes we can get confused into thinking that since the paycheck is coming from this company, that they are the source of our supply. If the paycheck is coming from the government, then they are the source of our supply, the EDD or the Social Security or the retirement pension. But the truth of the matter is, Spirit is the source of our supply. Now, if we can move our attention onto that place of understanding and truly getting that God is the source of my supply, then we're opening ourselves up to infinite potentiality and unlimited possibility. Who wants to experience that? I do. Yeah, right? So the dictionary defines infinite as indefinitely or exceedingly great, like infinite sums of money. It also says unlimited or unmeasurable in extent of space, duration of time, etc., like the infinite nature of outer space. Unbounded or unlimited, boundless, endless, like God's infinite love. Now, key words to remember from that are indefinite, exceedingly great, unlimited, unmeasurable, unbounded. Now, some of you might say, but I'm a realist, Reverend Elizabeth. That's okay, right? Yes, and. It's like, yes, and you can see what's in your bank account and what is possible. If you place your focused attention on Spirit, this infinite presence, remember, we're swimming in this infinite ocean of devotion. As you place your attention on that consciously, you're going to have to wrestle your mind away from conditions and from the circumstances in your life that are saying it's not true. So when I say focus on the infinite, did anybody have any kind of thought that you will admit to that said, yeah, but? Right? Yeah. Yeah. So the yeah, but, that is what you have to wrestle your mind away from, because the part of us that wants to keep us small, the part of us that wants to have us stay the same, that's the yeah but, right? And so the question then is, how do we move from a space of that yeah but into recognizing and realizing that Spirit is the source of our supply, and there is an infinite wellspring of everything we could imagine for ourselves in our lives. It's a practice just like everything else. And so whether we're talking about an infinite supply of money, I mean, who doesn't want that, right? An infinite supply of money, and that's not a bad thing. So sometimes in spiritual circles, people go, well, I've, let go of all of my ties. I don't need money, and money is the root of all evil. That's not the truth. It's not the truth, right? It is our attachment to it that causes suffering. So if we attach ourselves to Spirit, the infinite presence that moves through all of life, that is here now, then we're attached to Spirit, and we know that Spirit has our backs in every moment. Are you with me? Yeah. Awesome. And so the creative juices start flowing for me when I start to think about things like indefinite, exceedingly great, unlimited, unmeasurable, unbounded. And then it just continues to expand beyond the great beyond, infinite infinitude, right? Doesn't it make you want to come up with more ways to describe that infinite presence that is so difficult to describe up until now? Crack myself up. As a kid, do you remember saying, I can't even remember the context, but as a kid, I remember somebody say, something to infinity, and then you would have no way to counter that, because what's beyond infinity? And then someone would say infinity to the power of infinity, and then you're like, wow, that's mind-blowing, Or there was Buzz Lightyear that said to infinity and beyond. Remember that? Yeah. So today we're talking about infinite source. Now consider the abundant nature of the universe everywhere and always fully present, and the sacredness of wealth. We are really expanding our idea of how big really is. So we create through contemplation, and this is all so relevant. So we have the Law of Mental Equivalence, an online Zoom class coming up. That starts on October 18th, and that's going to be Tuesdays from 6:30 to 8:30. And so this is all about creating a life that we would love to experience for ourselves, and I highly recommend that class because we recall that we create through contemplation, so we can contemplate lack and limitation, or we can contemplate abundance and flow. We have a choice. Now, our tendency is to look at what we don't have. It's just it's human nature, right? It's okay, it's not bad. It's just what we do. Whether we want to admit it or not, we limit ourselves in that way, contemplating lack and limitation, right? So the universe is extravagant in its expression. It is pure, abundant energy everywhere and always present. Let us begin this month of living everyday wonder by contemplating the universal abundance. Let us practice being open and curious about the infinite presence of divine substance. So we will begin our creative process by giving ourselves an abundance name to use for the month. And you're going to learn to know yourself as an abundant being by naming yourself an abundant being. And so I'm going to call up my lovely assistant, Susan. I might need another assistant from this side if anybody is willing. Yes, Rebecca, come on down. Now, Susan is going to pass out pens. Do you think we have enough? Do we have an abundance of pens?
The aloha spirit, if there's not enough pens, right?
Yeah. So we have some forms. Now, just hang on to these for a moment as I begin this process. So there is a game called the Abounding River game, and it's by Cafe Gratitude. I don't know if you've heard of them, but you can Google it when you get home. And so in this game, it's a game of abundance, and it's really fun. And one of the first things that you do is they have log sheets in the game, and you're going to get a log sheet. And this log sheet has a blank space for your spirit word, a blank space for your abundance word, plus your name. And now also on the sheet is several options for spirit words. You can come up with your own, but these are wonderful. And then the next column is several words for abundance, which you can use any of those, or you can choose your own, and then you'll add your name on the end. So for instance, I will choose eternal, effulgent Elizabeth. Therefore, effulgent, it's like unlimited, abundant, glowing with goodness. And so you can also look these up on dictionary.com if you don't know the exact meaning. So now my lovely assistants are going to pass out forms and pens to everybody. And you're going to take a moment to choose your spirit word and then your abundance word, and you'll put your name down. Now, you don't need to make this super difficult. Whatever calls to you, what are the words that resonate with you? And you can go ahead and take that. All right, Rebecca's passing them out on the right side. Here we go. Good, good. And so for the Zoomers, I'm going to read the spirit words for you so you can choose from one of these or come up with your own. The spirit words are absolute, all that is, almighty, Atman, awareness, being, Brahman, Buddha, Chi, Christ, compassion, creator, deity, divine, energy, essence, eternal, Father, Gaia, God, Goddess, holy, infinite, kindness, Lakshmi, light, Lord, love, magical, mana, mother, nature, presence, savior, self, capital S, silence, spirit, the force, universe, universal, wholeness, and Yahweh. So these are spirit words that are on the log sheet, and you can come up with your own. Totally cool, right? If something's not on there and you need it to be on there, just pick your own. It's great, like source or source energy. And then I'm going to go through the abundance words also. So for the Zoomers, the abundance words that we have are abounding, abundant, affluent, bounteous, bountiful, burgeoning, copious, creamy, effulgent, eternal, expansive, fecund, fertile, filled, flourishing, fruitful, gigantic, golden, gorged, grand, heaps, infinite, lavish, luscious, luxurious, magnificent, measureless, millions, multitude, munificent, opulent, overflowing, plentiful, prolific, prosperity, rich, teeming, thanksgiving, thriving, treasure, umpteen, universal, unlimited, and wealthy. And then again, if a word for abundance is calling to you that's not on the list, you can use that too. Totally okay. And so now you're going to choose your spirit word, choose your abundance word, and then write your name down. Does anybody already have their new name? Gina, would you like to share yours? Divine Flourishing Gina. Hello, Divine Flourishing Gina. Mine is Eternal Effulgent Elizabeth. Nice to meet you. Anybody else have theirs? Doreen. Goddess Golden Doreen. Hello there, Goddess Golden Doreen. All right, anybody else? Rebecca. Creator Unlimited Rebecca. Hello. Ron. Beyond Galactic Ron. Woo! That's epic. Kim, how about you? Nature Abounding Kim. Jimmy. Peace-filled Jimmy. All right.
Universal Brian.
Universal Brian. Anna. Aware, expansive Anna. Hello, good to meet you. Did somebody have their hand up over here? Betty. Eternal Fruitful Betty. Good to meet you. Ricky. What was the first one? Magical, Magnificent Ricky. Wow. These are magnificent. Yes, Kristen. Goddess Thriving Kristen. All right, everybody. I would like for you to stand up and say your name to somebody. Introduce yourself with your new name, your new abundance name. At least one person, so you can say it out loud. Zoomers, you can do this in the chat. All right, once you've introduced yourself, you can come back to your seat. All right, my friends. Now, the invitation for you throughout this week, you're going to place this like on your refrigerator. Tom, you're going to place this on your refrigerator. Yeah, you may have to use another magnet to put it up there. And I would love for you to practice that name. Practice using that name. Say that name aloud. Whenever you see this paper, either you tape it on the front of your fridge or put a magnet on there. Say your name, your abundance name aloud. Eternal, effulgent Elizabeth. And just feel how that feels. And then you could even say that multiple times throughout the day. But you want to remember this. This is your abundance name for the month of October. Yes? All right. And beyond, exactly. If that's what you want to do, Ethel, that's a good idea. Just write it in, Delon says, yes. Our volunteers are having a moment. Do I need to create new name tags for everyone, she said. All right. And so tuck that away and make sure you use this throughout the week. It's a powerful affirmation for you. Now, I also wanted to share a little bit more about this wonderful game. It's the Abundance game, and it's an actual board game. So there's a game board, it unfolds, and then there's dice and little markers, and you choose your marker, roll the dice, and then there are 5 sections that you go through, and I don't recall all 5 of them, but one of them is gratitude. And then you roll your dice, move your marker, and then you land on a color, and blue is gratitude, and so you pull one of the cards for gratitude. And the cards are in each section, right? So this card says, pray without ceasing, in everything give thanks. Thessalonians 5:17. And then there are numbers, and then there are river guides. So the first number, you can, in the game, the player, you ask them number 1, 2, or 3, right? But this says, whom in your life are you currently resenting or making wrong? Share with the other players. And then number 2 is now share with the other players something you could be grateful for in regards to that same person. Number 3, on your log sheet, make a note to express your gratitude directly to him or her. And then the river guides tell us to look beyond our current judgments and opinions for what that person might be contributing to you. And the second one is gratitude liberates you from the limitations of your judgments. Wow, that's a game. Isn't that awesome? And then if you happen to land on a box that says sage or a box that says reflection, there are cards. Just like in the game of Monopoly, there's community chest and what's the other one? Chance. Right, those little orange cards and the yellow cards. So we're going to pick a sage card. So we'll just say, for instance, we draw this sage card. The sage card says, read out loud and simply let yourself contemplate. There is no greater mystery than this, that we keep seeking reality, though in fact we are reality. We think that there is something hiding our reality, and that this must be destroyed before reality is gained. How ridiculous. A day will dawn when you will laugh at all of your past efforts. That which will be on the day you laugh is also here and now. Ramana Maharshi. Awesome. So that's a contemplation, and then if you landed on the reflection, we'll just pull one. It says, say out loud 3 times to another player. And it says, I love blank as my life and as all of life now. And in that blank space, you put your spirit word. So I love God as my life and as all of life now, for example. Isn't that fun? We might need to play this game as a community, right? Game night, yeah, the abundance game night. That is a fabulous idea. So I just wanted to share that with you because that is so fun to get into abundance and get into shifting our mindset into abundance. So in what ways can you shift your mindset into feeling the abundance of the universe? Whether you believe that you're already totally well taken care of and provided for and you have everything you need, how can you still incorporate abundance to expand your mind and be open to even greater good than ever before? Whether it's in your finances, whether it's in your relationship with spirit, whether it's about love, whether it's about having more friends in your life, whether it's about the right and perfect job, whether it's about retiring, whether it's about the right and perfect vacation, and on, right? It's expanding and becoming open and available to all the good that you seek in your life. And it may even be something deep down that you don't talk about, right? Becoming open and available to the good that Spirit has for you in the here and now. And so, divine mind is the one and only reality. The infinite supply of ideals expressed as ideas is the true wealth and abundance of spirit. These ideas, these potential energies are available to everyone, everywhere. Everywhere, always. Spirit has no limitation, nor any concept of lack or restriction. We do that, right? It is impersonal. The law is impersonal. Spirit is impersonal. People have created ideas about God, ideas of rules or restricted love, of desire for suffering and earning and living in lack and believing this to be more pleasing to the God of their creation. I'm going to let go of my desire to have the experience of financial abundance in my life because it's causing me suffering. Well, what if you had created that new experience, that new expression of knowing that Spirit is the source of my supply. So as I focus my attention on Spirit, it expands and grows because it's all encompassing. And then I begin to realize and fully recognize and understand that it is in and through everything. And I'm just making this other stuff up. Right. Yeah. So truly, we have this experience of freedom. The only thing that makes the most sense for us is related to an infinite presence, a oneness that is undivided against itself, expressing as freedom, freedom from bondage, freedom from lack, freedom from limitation. And in order for us to have a healthy relationship with wealth, we've got to have that healthy relationship with Spirit, seeking its kingdom first. Seeking first the kingdom within us and knowing that it is the source. And as we find that kingdom within us, any rejection or misunderstanding is simply released back into the nothingness from whence it came, and we are free to be all that we came here to be. How awesome is that, right? It's powerful. So if we're going to allow the infinite abundance, the wealth of the universe, to freely express through us, we have to have a healthy understanding of this aspect of the nature of the divine, wealth. It means abundant supply, and it actually derives from the word wheel, which means a sound or healthy, prosperous state. Can we conceive of an infinite oneness that wants itself and its creation to live in poverty, restriction, and lack? No. The infinite is unlimited. The infinite is expressing freely always, and this must be true of spirit. It must be universally true of all aspects of spirit, because wealth isn't things. The first wealth is spirit. So when we have a wealthy, healthy relationship with the God of our understanding, we're good to go. So if you're having an experience of suffering in your life, turn within. Connect with the source of all creation within you. If you're having a difficult time finding that source within you, because sometimes that happens, that's when you call a licensed practitioner, you fill out a prayer form, you set up a session where people will help, the licensed practitioners or myself will help you and guide you into knowing this truth for yourself when you can't. Because that happens too, right? We're so in it that we can't see the light. And so we just need a little guide, a little spirit guide, a little sage to guide us on that path, and that is okay. So Thomas Troward observed that the universe creates by contemplating itself. In Science of Mind, we say that we become what we think about. The ancient metaphysical philosopher Plotinus reminds us, I do not argue, I contemplate. And as I contemplate, I let fall the seeds of thought into the mirror of mind, which then becomes the mirror of matter. So as we contemplate the infinite nature of the one, that contemplation aligns us with the nature of the one. It lifts us out of our conditioned beliefs in lack, limitation, and struggle, and into the truth of flow, ease, grace, and plenty. This is not arguing or bypassing or fighting with ourselves or the world. It's simply turning our attention and contemplation of the highest truth we can know, because that's what we want to experience in our lives. We don't need to get superstitious about this either, okay? Some people in New Thought can get suspicious or, like, oh no, I better not think about that. I better, think about this because I don't want to create that. And they, there's not superstitious was the word I meant to use, sorry. Like, why is everyone looking at me blankly? Superstitious. We don't need to get superstitious, like if we, the old step on a crack. Thank you, yeah. We don't want to do that. Like, oh no, I said this thing. It's like the regular, the sum total of our thinking, right? What we're thinking about throughout the day. If we're thinking about throughout the day, there's not enough time, there's not enough this, there's not enough that, then what is happening for us is we're creating that, right? So we want to get into that space of knowing that everything gets done on time and in time. Right? That kind of thing. So contemplation of spirit alone is creative. Our thoughts are creative. We are always creating, whether we're consciously aware of it or not. We're creating by our thinking processes, so the call is for us to become conscious today. Was I low talking? All right. So I'm going to invite the musicians to come up and prepare for the closing song as we wrap it up for today. So as we clear our old ideas of the divine and recognize it as truly infinite beyond our comprehension, yet expressing as us, we naturally let go of old ideas and beliefs which have kept us restricted in our expression of the one in our lives. It's time. The time is now for each one of us to experience the abundance of spirit in our lives. It's time for the Awakening Way spiritual community to experience the abundance of spirit in our lives and the world and all those around us and those not around us. So contemplate the vastness of spirit, the space that spans beyond the myriad universes. Like, can you name that? No. Imagine the space that spans beyond the myriad universes. Even when I say that, I think about, okay, there's the solar system. I've seen pictures online, right? haven't been to the other planets, but I've seen them. And I know there's billions and billions of light years of space up there. And then that is what's in between the planets. But what about all of that space that is beyond that? It's like immeasurable, right? That's the kind of thing we want to contemplate. And so Charles Fillmore declared that it is a sin to be poor. Now, sin means missing the mark. When we hit the mark, when we hit the bullseye of the true nature of the infinite, we no longer believe in the old ways and the old fears of divine disapproval. We step into the freeing awareness of an infinite presence of thriving, extravagance, and joy of full expression. We are that. We are that. So this week we are contemplating, thank you for the wonderful songs, you guys, the opulence, the extravagance in the best way of the divine, and our oneness with that presence of opulence. And it is good. So, so good. So let's take a deep breath. Oh, and join me in turning your attention inward. And in this moment, we return our attention to that inward place, which is the place where I know and remember with every fiber of my being that spirit is all that there is. It is all that there ever was, and it is all that there ever will be. And I'm so grateful to know that this presence that lives within me is, in fact, as eternal and vast as the space that spans beyond the myriad universes. And that presence is within each one of us right now. And as we get present to that and really get that, we begin to embody that and know that, wow, something magnificent is happening here. And I am aware of it. And I am placing my conscious, focused attention on it. Something wonderful is happening as me right now. I have been birthed into existence to experience a life of love, a life of opulence, a life of thriving, joyful goodness that is beyond my wildest imagination, and I am open to it. Regardless of any circumstances or conditions in my life that would say otherwise, I allow those circumstances and conditions to dissipate and dissolve back into the nothingness from whence it came so that I can stand in my eternal good. I can stand and swim in that ocean of eternal abundance. It's here right now, and I am so grateful. And I'm so grateful that as we each go forward from here, we are in the flow. We are in the divine flow, and we have our abundance name, and that is who we know ourselves to be. Unexpected income comes in, expected income comes in, and we notice financial abundance everywhere. And we notice vastness, opulence, and goodness everywhere, because it's not just about money, but it is also about money. Blessed be. I'm so grateful for all of the gifts that have come into my life and into the lives of each individual here and into the life of Awakening Ways spiritual community. I'm grateful for all of the gifts and all of the goodness that we have all experienced so far up until now. I'm grateful for this day, this beautiful Sunday, October 2nd, 2022. And I'm grateful for this experience that is happening right now, this opulent experience of abundance and flow that we are all in and swimming in. It's so good. Thank you, Spirit. And I'm grateful for the invisible gifts, the invisible blessings that are on their way that show up. And when they do, we knew it was coming because Spirit is here right now, but it fills us with so much joy and gratitude. And so with that gratitude, I can release my prayer now, knowing it is so, and I invite you to help me anchor this truth by saying with me, and so it is. Yes. Woo!